Shalom, shalom. This is your brother Shamak out of the Great Millstone Atlanta camp. Before I get started, I want to give all the glory, infinite praises unto Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Rachak Wadash, Yahweh being the Heavenly Father's true name, and His only begotten Son's true name being Yahweh Shai, both in the Hebrew language of whom the world incorrectly and ignorantly called God and Jesus Christ. Also, I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well and who are the true leaders of the Hebrew Israelites within these last days. And also want to give a shalom to the hopeful elect believers and teachers that are pushing this truth all around the world. All right, shalom. Wanted to cover the lesson concerning what's recently been in the news concerning these Trump, truly the tariffs concerning China and concerning the United States of America through Trump's administration. All right. And firstly, I want to grab what is a tariff, So it says a tariff is a duty tax imposed by the government of a country or customs territory or by a supranational union on imports of goods. Besides being a source of revenue, import duties can also be a form of regulation of foreign trade and policy that can burden foreign products to encourage or safeguard domestic industry. All right, and it's going to explain just what that means. It says protective tariffs, which are taxes basically, are among the most widely used instruments of protectionism, along with import quotas and export quotas and other non-tariff barriers to trade. It says tariffs can be fixed on a constant sum per unit of imported goods or a percentage of the price or variable. The amount varies according to the price. Tariffs on imports are designed to raise the price of imported goods to discourage consumption. This where inflation comes about. This where the rise, this where those increase of tariffs on China products, which is that's huge news, especially for us living. It could be for the world too, but for those that's living in America, most of the products are. I think the statistic is that 80% of America's products is made in China. All right, so that's heavy news. This is heavy news. This is a big thing. This is important to be aware of. It says the intention is for citizens to buy local products instead. This is where Donald Trump's and his administration and maybe his bosses above him, this is where their minds are thinking, to make America truly what? Great again. You says the intention is for citizens to buy local products instead, thereby stimulating their country's economy. Tariffs therefore provide an incentive to develop production and replace imports with domestic products. That's the goal at hand. That's what they're looking to do. All right, and I say them as in the Trump administration, that is, the government of the United States of America. Okay, just to show that. But this was also going to explain that within this video here, or show that, but it's still showing you that this is a huge thing that's going on concerning China and the United States of America. Okay, so I want to start up.
Hey, did you know you might get a?
I want to start up within this video after this advertisement plays. I guess see what point I truly want, or points. I guess. Let's see what's being said here.
Scott there.
And let me say, this content, is for fair use information, educational purposes. Okay.
Has foot traffic of tens of millions of Americans every single day. China is also just about to take Taiwan. Now you're starting to build a bigger picture, and we're just putting the pieces together here. We have the Russian versus NATO conflict. Those are two pieces we just put together. We have the Israel versus Iran conflict. We have more pieces putting together over here. Now we have China and Taiwan, another couple of pieces. These straits, all of these ports and traffic areas are being controlled. Why do you think the U.S. president and the U.S. administration wants the Panama Canal? They need to be able to control traffic that goes through areas so that they can tax them or stop or the full cessation of goods traveling through there. Now, China, as part of what they're about to do, This is where things get really scary. China will stop 80% of the goods from coming into America, or they'll make it so that you and I, the average American, cannot even afford to purchase them. Let's go.
So yeah, that's where, and that's a heavy point, because that's where inflation comes about, or there can be a lack of those particular resources or products that are produced by China. All right, and that could be a plethora of products. All right, and that's going to bring about trouble. And that's where the Bible comes about. This is where the scriptures come into play. All right, because trouble is right around the corner, and trouble can come through these tariffs. All right, these tariffs are a big deal. Let me get Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 17. This is what's to take place in the last days that we're living in right now. All right. So this is Second Ezra chapter 15, I'm gonna start at verse 18. It reads, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled." And with America alone, this is an arrogant country. They're very, very proud. And the people, the government itself, the elites of this place, they don't think this place is going to fall. They don't think that it'll crumble. All right, they think, that this place is going to get. They think in their spirit that their lands and their places will continue forever, and that's not the case. It says, "The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Verse 19, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods." Yeah, take their goods, take their things. It says, "Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." These tariffs that's being imposed, all right, with China and the United States of America, this can get ugly, and we'll wait to see what takes place. But this can get very, very bad. Okay, so let's see what else is being said within this video.
For good jobs in the United States of America. For 40 years, we have gone down that pathway. We've seen closing factories. We've seen rising inflation. We've seen the cost of housing so high that most Americans can't afford to buy a home right now.
Let's listen to that part again. That's really important.
Not a recipe for low prices, and it's not a recipe for good.
He talks about how for decades now, and this isn't just a Biden problem. This isn't just a Democrat problem. This is a whole United States government problem. They've used you, they've used me for the last, 60, 70, 80 years? Of course, they used us before that too, but things got really bad in just the last couple of decades.
Jobs in the United States of America. For 40 years, we have gone down that pathway. We've seen closing factories. We've seen rising inflation. We've seen the cost of housing so high that most Americans can't afford to buy a home right now. President Trump is taking this economy in a different direction.
Okay, so here's my take on this. And here's the economists that we have been talking to. They have all painted a very, very similar picture. What we are experiencing right now is a birthing pain. This is you have to have the fever to break the illness pain. This is the body, the government's way of creating an entirely new country with a new economy. This is, and I've been warning you about this, a new order of our world. And with this new order, you have two options. There's only two paths here. Artificial intelligence already knows it. The Trump administration knows it. The economists know it. The only two paths we have here is America will sink or America will be on top. And that's all we've got. So we are really betting everything on the line here.
See, and that's what's coming into play. You know what? It all boils down to prophecy. That's why I read 2 Ezra chapter 15, because this place is going to sink. This economy is going to sink according to the Bible. This is where divine intervention comes in. This is where spirituality comes in. All right. There's going to be a lack of, it says, a lack of bread. It says because of the lack of bread and for great tribulations, yeah, for the lack of resources, the lack of necessities, the things people need, not the things people want, but the things people need. There's going to be a lack of it. All right. And these are the stepping stones to that struggle, to that fall, are through these tariffs, man. And you see, it's increasing. This is from April 7th of 2025. Donald Trump threatens to impose an additional 50% tariff on China. That once again, that's that duty tax. All right. To ultimately, it's like a two-edged sword. It's ultimately to try to attempt to help just America's economy by doing away with the with all these imports with China, and then China also needs America because this is main consumer. So it's like it's like they still need one another, but there's tension there. All right, war. This is basically financial war. It says President Trump on Monday said the U.S. will apply an additional 50% tariff on imports from China if the Asian nation doesn't withdraw its plan to impose a retaliatory 34% import fee on American products. All right. So they're going back and forth. Okay. It says, let me exit this out. It says in a post on his Truth Social app, Mr. Trump said that any country that retaliates against the United States by issuing additional tariffs above and beyond their already existing long-term tariff abuse of our nation, he's basically saying nations have been getting off, or been taking advantage of America's I guess money. All right. But it says will be immediately met with new substantially higher tariffs over and above those initially set. And that's what he's looking to do. Very, very what it says he added. Therefore, if China does not withdraw its 34% increase above their already long-term trading abuses by tomorrow, April 8th of 2025, the United States will impose an additional tariffs on China of 50% effective April 9th. Things are this it can get, man, things can get very, very serious. All right. With China products alone, man. Very with these new taxes, okay? It says in response to Mr. Trump's imposition of a 34% tariff on Chinese imports, which is set to go into effect on April 9th, Beijing last week announced it would add a 34% tariff on imports of all U.S. products beginning April 10th. Okay, so we'll see what happens, man. But trouble is trouble in the breaking of this economy, like this person said. America will sink or be on top. And according to Bible prophecy, America will sink. America will sink, man, according to the Bible. All right. Let me get Revelation chapter 6. All right, Revelation chapter 6. Because what is this third seal going into? Famine. What is famine? That's death from starvation. That's death from the lack of water and bread. All right, the lack of food and water. All right, famine. This is what's approaching. This is what's coming to America. This is what's coming to the world. You know, and these are just different aspects through these tariffs. This is just one aspect, just one way, because you're still going to have engineered famine. You're going to have the government control what goes in and out the grocery stores, as they already do. But it's going to be even more engineered. It's going to be withheld for those that submit to their system and that submit to taking their mark of the beast, which is the microchip implant. All right. But let me read this. This is Revelation chapter 6, verse 5. It reads, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. That black represents the void of light. What does that horse represents? That power. Okay. It says, and I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. This is going into slavery. Okay. This is going into our dark period. Verse 6, and we are still subject to payments. We are still in slavery to this very day, mentally and physically. All right, for us Israelites, that is, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Verse 6, and I heard a voice in the midst of the fourth beast say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. All right, so this is a heavy verse within itself. And this still has to involve what? Famine in the midst of slavery, in the midst of this black horse, okay? Because it says a measure of wheat for a penny. All right, so let's get that penny. And it says a measure of wheat. All right. a measure of wheat for a penny. So that penny, all right, it says going to the what, that Roman silver coin in the New Testament time, because that's where we read it. The book of Revelations is in the New Testament. It says it took its name from it being equal to 10 asses. All right, it says it was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. It says from the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it would seem that a denarius was then the ordinary pay for a day's wages. Okay, so the denarius or denarion going to that penny is going to be your meal can possibly be an entire day's wages. So modern day thinking, that can be a meal for what? $150, $100, $200, $250. That's how things are going to get. And these types of this is inflating. This is inflation. This is inflation shown within prophecy through this denarion, which is the Roman silver coin in the New Testament time. So this is just your modern day US dollar. Okay? Nothing different. Same thing. It's prophecy. Okay? Prophecy. Let me get that one more time. Revelation chapter 6, verse 6. It reads, and I heard a voice in the midst of the fourth beast say, a measure of wheat for a penny. So yeah, a day's wages to receive meals. Okay, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. It says, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. That's concerning the truth. The truth coming stemming from who? Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai and the Israelites. Okay? The truth is gonna prevail regardless. The Lord is going to preserve and protect the elect of the nation of Israel, those that are already predestined and preordained to believe and endure to the end to be saved. All right, that's what's going to happen. All right, but let me also grab concerning that famine. Right, let me go to the next chapter, Second Ezra chapter 16, because these are prophetic times that we're reading about that are to take place in the times that we're living in right now, and what's showing that it what's happening around us. The word like this, like he entitled this video. This is from what, Full Spectrum Survival, and you see the channel, 376,000 subscribers. That Trump's tariff shake the world. This because this within his content, he talked about Walmart, because I think Walmart also, of course, imports um or contains mostly China made products. All right, it says, look, global trade collapse, chaos ahead. And that's exactly what the Bible, this is what the scriptures speak of. We just read about in a few couple scriptures in Second Ezra chapter 15, and now I want to read just one or two within Second Ezra chapter 16. All right. So this is Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 21. It reads, behold, victuals, which are your resources, that's your bread, okay, your necessities. It says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Yeah, the world is in confusion right now. All right, you got April 9th coming up, that an additional 50% tariff or tax can it be issued on China. You got China issuing taxes on the United States of America. You got a lot of back and forth. People don't know everything keeps changing. Nothing staying the same. Not even for days. All right. Great confusion, man. And what's gonna come about that? Drama. It's gonna come violence. All right. It was gonna come with that as well. What comes with inflation? Famine. People won't be able to afford, all right, to get what they need. Not the things they want, the things that they need. Like your food, like your water, like your clothes, like your particular products. All right. Verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. So it is already written for millions. It's billions of people on the earth. It's biblical proportions people to perish and die of starvation. It says in the other that escape the hunger for those. So for those that do not die of famine, what's going to kill you? Shall the sword destroy? Yeah, violence, being tortured, being killed, maybe being stabbed to death, tortured to death, beat to death. This is what's coming to the to the lands, or in the areas in the cities of America, which is also mentioned as Babylon the Great in the Bible. Okay, this is what's coming, and this is coming to the world. Best believe, man, because once America's economy collapses, America is one of the main consumer nations on in the world. So once and that's why they're gonna howl for when this place is fall, as it speaks about in the prophecy of Revelation chapter 18. These nations are gonna mourn, all right, because they have gotten rich off of America. That's why you got Trump saying such things like, man, y'all been abusing our trading um allegiance and trading contracts for the longest. He say he's looking to put an end to it, because all going back to his motto, make America great again. Make America great again. But ultimately, according to Bible prophecy, this place will sink, this place will fall, this place will collapse. All right. So that, hey, we're here to tell you that, hey, spiritually understand that this is not our risk. For you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, this place is going to collapse. This place is going to fall. Expect the economy to get even worse. All right, it's going to get a lot worse, man. All right, according to the Bible. Okay, so I just want to come with the lesson concerning these tariffs. And that they're continuing on. It's not stopping at the 34% tariff on America with China. America's looking to come right back at them with additional. Just we'll see what happens. An additional 50% tariff on April 8th, and to be effective April 9th, April 10th. Okay, so we'll see what happens. But just to be aware and alert on what's going on around us. All right, and also to show the biblical understanding behind these such things that's happening as well. All right, so Lord willing, this lesson was edifying and also encouraging to you sincere believers. I want to end up by giving all the glory, infinite praises unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. All right, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And repent, Yahweh Shai is coming back. Repent, Yahweh Shai is coming back. All right, Shalom. Keep the faith. Shalom.